Today I'm at Canon headquarters to take a look at the brand new flagship DSLR from Canon, the EOS-1D X Mark III. Just like its predecessors, it's targeted towards that pro sports and wildlife market, but obviously with the specs of this thing, it can handle pretty much anything apart from being put in a small bag. So we're going to start having a look at the mainline specs, we're going to have a look at the USPs, move on to a little AF test for it, and then take a look at the video capabilities, which are ultra impressive. So let's first off start with those specs. We're seeing some major updates with the 1D X Mark III over the Mark II. Now I'm sure if you're looking at buying this camera, you're already going to get a spec list up in front of you. So let me just give you a little taste of what you get with this. It's got a 20.1 megapixel sensor. It's not the same sensor, it has been redesigned. We've also got a newly designed CMOS AF sensor, which is designed to get much better detail through to that main sensor, creating overall a better image quality. The main sensor does have a low pass filter, but again, it's been redesigned for the best possible image quality available. The AF system has had a total redesign within the 1D X Mark III, which is really, as a pro in sports and wildlife, where you want to be seeing a lot of the improvement. We've got a new auto setting in all of the custom settings for AF, which I've been told is incredibly impressive. We've still got 1, 2, 3, and 4, which allows you to do all your different types of tracking, different types of AF modes. In terms of the amount of actual autofocus points we now have 191 in live view, which are all cross-type. Now in comparison to the 1D X Mark II, that was 41 cross-type, 61 overall, so that's a really good improvement. The body itself sees a weight loss of 90 grams from the 1D X Mark II down to 1,440 grams, not bad for a body of this type. The overall dimensions really haven't changed. The button layout is very similar, but we do see some improvements to usability. However, they're not in different places, so it makes things a little bit easier for pros. One of the biggest additions is this new AF joystick, I guess you'd call it. It's more of a touch bar. It's very good. Anybody thinking that they didn't like the EOS-R's touch bar and that they've put this in the 1D X Mark III, it is not the same. It's very effective, very sensitive, and fantastic for changing your AF point selection. The AF points, those 191 cross-type points, are mainly in the center as we normally see in DSLRs. It's not feasible to spread that over the whole of the sensor like you get in mirrorless bodies. Just due to the size of camera, you're completely limited. However, we all know how effective the autofocus system was on the 1D X Mark II, so I don't think it's going to be a huge problem in the Mark III. One of the biggest changes with the Mark III is the addition of CFexpress cards. We've got dual CFexpress cards in this. Now, although I just heard your wallet scream a little bit, it is a very good addition because it allows it to do some very exciting things, continuous frame rate being a big one. You can shoot 16 frames per second with AF and AE with the mirror. You can shoot 20 frames per second with AF and AE with the mirror locked up, which is fantastic. 20 frames per second is incredibly impressive. We're almost heading towards a movie there. The main thing though is how long you can shoot those for. In JPEG, it's unlimited. There's no bottleneck because of those CFexpress cards, and so you can just shoot and shoot and shoot as much as you want until your card fills up. However, in RAW, that's where we see the major upgrade. On the Mark II, off the top of my head, I think the number was 171 RAWs in continuous. With the 1D X Mark III, the continuous frame rate for RAW is 1,000. Now, it's been tested by Dave, who we know at Canon, and he got bored at 1,000 and just stopped himself. However, later today, we will be doing a test and we'll see how far that can go on with before we notice a drop in speed. Hopefully we'll get past the 1,000 mark and beat Dave from Canon. The 1D X cameras have always been complete workhorses. The 1D X III will be no different. We've seen some improvements as well to the practicality of the camera. Battery life has seen a massive improvement. We've gone from a CEPA rating of just over 1,200 shots up to just under 3,000 shots, 2,850 CEPA rated. That's an incredible improvement in a battery and a camera of this type. However, I would imagine if you've got your mirror locked up, you're shooting 20 frames per second, you're gonna get way over that. I can't imagine that you're gonna be running out of batteries too often with this. The next upgrade we see is to the Wi-Fi capability. The new WFT transmitter is much faster than we've seen with the 1D X II. Now, I've just watched someone do a load of images across. It was so quick, but they have not given us a percentage increase. I would imagine that is coming. However, we're shooting this video way before the NDA is lifted. So you'll be seeing this when the camera comes out. We unfortunately don't have that number yet, but I would imagine Canon will have released it by this point. So I'm sure you'll be able to see it on the website, either on the product page for the WFT itself or on the product page for the 1D X Mark III. So now we know a little bit more about the camera itself, which does seem to be an absolute beast at this point. We want to test some of these features out, and the main thing I'm going to be testing today is the autofocus. So I've asked Josh Brady to come in so we can take some photos of him. Unfortunately, the weather is typically December-ish for the south of England. It's very drizzly, very rainy, and pretty bleak. But with the weather sealing on the 1D X III, I can imagine it's just us that are going to be suffering, not the camera. Now we're outside on this dreary, rainy day to go through the autofocus on the 1D X Mark III. So let me give you a quick rundown. So we've got 191 AF points with the mirror down in live view. We have 3,869. The 191 are all cross types. That's really great. Massive increase over the Mark II, which was only 41. We have that new CMOS AF sensor for really nice high resolution images coming into the camera, and fantastic dual pixel CMOS AF, which everyone loves in stills and video. Now, the AF types are a little bit different than we've had before. The case studies, as Canon call them, we've got 4, which are the same as we've seen before. So we've got one for just your everyday use, one for really erratic tracking, one for sudden entrances to the frame, and one for subjects that are increasing and decreasing in speed. I'm going to test all of those now by doing different things with our model Josh. Josh is a free runner and a content creator, so he's coming to help us out. Thank you very much on this horrendous rainy day for you. So we're going to do those tests now. Now, the new thing that the Mark III has over the Mark II is an auto mode as well. It can test what someone is, how someone is moving. It can track that and keep an eye on them. So we're going to be testing that right at the end of this section. But I'm going to start off with just versatile mode, and I'm going to have you run towards me. So we're in case study 1, as Canon call it, which is the versatile setting, the everyday setting. I'm now going to have Josh just walk towards me, because I think that's a pretty normal thing to do every day. We've got it on sort of a medium continuous frame rate, and I'm just going to see how well that stays on his face for tracking autofocus. So whenever you are ready, you go ahead. Look pretty good to me, but we will see. Next up, case study 2, which allows you to ignore objects that are in the way. My current object is George. He's going to be in the way. Josh is going to run past him, and I'm going to continue to track. It should hold on to Josh's face as he runs past. So Josh, when you're ready, you go ahead. For AF mode number 3, the camera will automatically pick up a subject, quickly entering the AF points. So now I'm going to have Josh run across the frame as I focus straight into the distance, and he's not starting in frame. So, okay, when you're ready, Josh. Let's see how well that did. That's a very difficult AF situation. But it did pick him up. It took a couple of frames in, but it did pick him up. AF mode number 4 allows you to track erratically moving subjects that are increasing or decreasing in speed. So for this, Josh is going to run towards us, stop, move direction. I've got it on a high continuous frame rate, and we're just going to see how well it keeps his face in focus. I'm using the 70-200 here, and I'm going to mess about with the zoom as well and just see how it deals with that. So if Josh hasn't drowned in this horrendous rain already, whenever you're ready, Josh, go ahead. That's so good. Lastly, we're going to test the autofocus mode. This is new on the 1D X III. 1D X II didn't have it, and we've been told it's really, really effective at tracking its subjects. It's used that deep learning that the 1D X III was put through before release to figure out exactly how the subject is moving in the frame. Today you are the subject. So on this one, you have completely free reign. Run, jump, do whatever you want, hide behind a tree. My job is to try and keep Josh in focus as he moves around. So, George, you're going to go handheld for this, and we're going to try and track you.
Let's do it.
You got it on camera, yeah, that I'm not trying to make him do this. I'm not going to get sued for throwing you off a booth. That's great, yeah, that's great. It held on to you all the way down.
Video. The 1D X has outstanding video specs. You can shoot in Canon log, RAW, at 60p, at a 5.5K image. It does this entirely internally, so you don't need any external recorders to do this job for you. The 1D X has got it covered. It shoots full HD at 120p, which you'd obviously expect of a camera of this caliber. You can shoot in H.264 or H.265, so you have the choice of there, whichever one is going to work slightly better for you. You also can use the dual CFexpress card slots as a proxy, so you can record your proxy into one of the cards so that when you're editing, you don't have to deal with these huge image files. It's a full frame sensor, so you're able to use crop mode if you want a little bit more refinement of your image for that composition if your lens can't quite do it for you. The video specs of the 1D X require a video entirely for themselves, so we're going to go into more detail on these in a video coming soon. But for now, I'll hand over back to Amy.
We're back inside now, soaked through. The camera doesn't care at all. That weather sealing, hardy body, just not caring at all about the British winter weather. It's also pitch black out there, which wouldn't be a problem for the 1D X either. The ISO range hitting expandable up to 819,000. It's just a huge amount of light this thing can take in, and it makes the difference between getting a shot and not getting a shot. And that's what this flagship DSLR for Canon is all about. It's about being able to get the shot, being able to plan for shots that before you just couldn't get, or it was a lucky shot. Now you can plan for those images, those photographs. With things like the Olympics coming up, those continuous frame rates, CFexpress cards, it means you can get shots that before would have just been so difficult. And with this, it's such a workhorse, practical camera. I'm sure it's going to do extremely well in its target market, that high-end sports photographer, high-end press photographer, high-end wildlife. Now, if you want to know more about the camera, because right now we don't know everything, so make sure to check on the website. We've got a lot of information on there. We haven't been able to test everything we'd like it to be able to do. So what we're going to do is get a sample so we can use it in some real world situations. You can, of course, give us a call as well. Pop into any of our stores, send us an email, pop onto our social channels or put a comment here, and we'll try our best to get back to you with all the information that you could need. Thanks for watching.